Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back, and if you are new, thanks so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. Today I am going to be talking about 10 books that broke my heart. In March, I did a video predicting 5 books that I thought would break my heart, and then Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot and Gemma from Gem of Books announced a brand new readathon called Misery May. Now this is totally my kind of readathon since I love books that are like crushing and heartbreaking. So both Scott and Gemma asked a whole bunch of different booktubers to recommend a book that they've read that fit the Misery May description. And I chose a book from this original list, which was Every Note Played by Lisa Genova, which I loved. So please check out Gemma and Scott's videos, which I will leave a link to below, because I talk about this book and you can hear all of the other really great recommendations from others as well. So now I have 10 more books that I would put in this category. I have to say Shuggie, Bain by Douglas Stuart, because the relationship between Shuggie and his mother is so intense and sad, and this book has all the emotions. Another book that made it to the list a little bit more recently is the classic Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. Charlie, the main character, undergoes surgery to help him become smarter, which works for a while. Charlie is just a sweetheart, and he has the experience of not being smart and being made fun of, and he also has the experience of being a genius, and this is about what he learns along the way. And I think that there's like so much for us as readers to learn from this story. There's a lot of layers to it, and Charlie will always have, I think, a special place in my heart. So if you are a dog lover, or really even if you aren't a dog lover, I have to say The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein should be high on your list if you haven't already read it. This book is narrated by Enzo, a dog that captured my heart instantly. I love how this book is written. I love the story, and I may have shed a tear or two. I did. Another one of my favorite books of all time, which I've talked about many times on this channel, is The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. This story spans several decades, and it follows an unlikely friendship between two girls who are just very different from each other. They become deep sea divers. They get married and have children. So this is in some ways a coming of age story. It's a friendship story. It's a bit of historical fiction with strong female characters. Okay, this next book is one that was all over the place at one time, and now I barely hear about it, but it is a book that I thought was very powerful, and that is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This is about a 15-year-old girl named Vanessa and the relationship that she has with her English teacher. I thought this book, although a very difficult topic, I thought it was brilliant in the way it even made me second guess myself at times in the way that I was thinking, and the way it shows how easy it is for Vanessa to be groomed and manipulated by this man, and the effects that it has on her well into adulthood. It is gut-wrenching, and it took me, when I read this, it took me a while to get through all of the emotions from this book. Another all-time favorite, which if you've been around for a while, it won't be a surprise to anyone. It's Wally Lamb's I Know This Much Is True. I know this is a bit intimidating, like it is huge. It probably is around 900 some pages, but I promise you that it is well worth every single page. This is the story of twin brothers. One of them has schizophrenia, And I read this when it first came out, like, I don't know, 25 years ago. And this story has continued to stay with me. It has one of the best opening scenes of any book that I've ever read. It grabs you right away, and you are just thrown into the lives of these two brothers, and it's so good. The next book is, I rarely hear anyone talk about it, but it is one of my all-time favorite books, and that is Moloka'i by Brennert. This is the story of Rachel, who lives in Hawaii with her family, and at 7 years old, she finds a small red patch on her skin. And Rachel is then taken from her family and sent to a leprosy colony on the island of Moloka'i. This book, it still has a piece of my heart. I loved the characters, I loved the writing, and I learned so much as well, like about how people were treated and about the island of Moloka'i. And it's actually because of this book, taking a tour of Moloka'i is on my list if I ever make it to Hawaii. Okay, this next book is, it might be cheating a little bit because I really want to say the entire Beartown trilogy by Fredrik Backman, but if I had to choose just one book from the three, it would be Us Against You, which is the second book. Now, I would say you do need to read the first book in order to really appreciate this, because it sets up the second book perfectly. And it's because of that, setup and the fact that the characters are already well known from the first story, that it allows for this second book to really gut punch you. The first book has tons of emotion as well, but for me, it's the second one that really got me. Next up is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. This is one of those books that I really liked the structure of how it was written. I thought it was perfect. It's told in alternating voices, and it gives several perspectives, which is done really well, especially for a book that deals with ethical issues. So this is about a family that has a sick child, and they have another child basically for medical reasons and to save the sick child's life. It really makes you think. It's also another book where I felt like I knew all of the characters, and it is heart-wrenching as well. And then last, but certainly not least, is one of the books that I actually predicted would break my heart, and really, that's an understatement. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This book is also a chunkster. It's over 800 pages, and it will rip your heart out. This is the story of 4 friends. Jude is the protagonist, and over time things are slowly revealed about him and his past. There is so much about this book that is just utterly sad. Jude knows that he has people who love him. He does have a strong support system in so many ways, but he cannot escape his past, and there are some things that the people who love him the most just can't make better for him. And I think Jude is probably, if not the most broken character that I have ever read about. So this story really shows how trauma can affect every aspect of someone's life well into adulthood. So on that cheery note, these are 10 books that I've read that I would say broke my heart, all in different ways, but they all evoked massive emotion, and they all have stayed with me in their own way. Some of them for decades. So please let me know if you have read any of these, or if there are any books that you are thinking about that you would add to this list. Like what books have torn your heart to shreds and you think would be good recommendations for people looking for that, people who are doing the readathon. Please let me know. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.